and pretend that they want to learn English. Really, they only want to listen. So this is not for them, because today we're going to be talking about how to speak English and what you need to know to do that. And the last group of people that this seminar is not for is people who don't have manners and people who are impolite. If you want to be an effective English speaker, then you need to understand how to speak with other people in general. That means you need to be respectful, and you can't write negative comments in the chat or say rude words or anything like that. So if you're one of these people, then this seminar is not for you, and you can leave the seminar right now. That's right, you can just exit out of the seminar, close it, and go do something else, because we only want positive people who really want to speak English and who have the ability to listen to information and to learn. Okay, great. So right now you're probably thinking something like, well, this is great and I'm excited for the seminar, but who is this Chris person? So for those of you who don't know who I am, let me quickly tell you who I am. Well, my name is Christopher Huntley, but I also use the name Chris Americos. I'm a professional teacher, teacher trainer, business coach, and entrepreneur from the United States. And I've lived in a lot of different places in my life. I've lived in Germany, Italy, and Russia, but also the United States, where I've lived in a lot of different places too. For example, Ohio, Hawaii, Rhode Island, West Virginia, and Florida. I've started multiple teaching businesses, and that's helped me a lot in my life. I can travel a lot, spend time with my friends and my family when I want, and work when I want. And one of the things I love doing more than anything else is teaching English. It's my passion. I absolutely love it. And I've been teaching for about 10 years and creating resources and lessons and programs for students and teachers. You can find my YouTube channel called English with Chris Americos and see that I have over 500 free video lessons there. I also have a great Facebook group called English with Chris Americos, where we post useful resources every day. And I create these resources because I believe that students should have everything they need to really learn English at a high level. When I look online, I always find resources that aren't very good. And there are some teachers out there who they just don't know what they're doing. They're giving people the wrong information, and that makes me sad and upset because I know that students are looking at that information and they're getting confused. So one of the things I've done is started showing teachers and students how they should approach learning and teaching the language, and I want to tell you about that right now. You see, most students and teachers around the world focus on communication only. I agree that communication is very important, but there are other important things that influence how we communicate that we also need to consider. One of those things is relationships. When we first meet a person, we usually use different words or phrases than when we speak with someone who we've known for a long time. It's the difference between formal and informal language usually. So when a teacher and a student meet for the first time, they'll probably say, "Hello." But when they meet for the 25th time, they'll probably say, "Hi." That's a very simple example of how relationships influence the words we use to communicate, and why it's important for teachers and students to understand that the relationship they develop when learning the language will help them develop their language and social skills. A large percentage of our communication is body language. It's non-verbal signals. That means we don't speak it. We just do it. Language and communication are things that we do. So if we really want to communicate effectively, we should stop focusing only on speaking and start focusing on communication and relationships. A few years ago, I started to understand this more and more, and I was really interested. I wanted to learn as much as I could. That's when I developed a completely new approach to teaching English called the communicative relationship approach. This is something that no one in the world was speaking about because they all thought that just sitting in a room and speaking all day would help students learn. But what I found was that students learned better and faster when we created a relationship. It's not a real relationship. I mean, it's not a romantic relationship or anything like that, and it's not a true friendship either. It's a sample relationship that is based on language learning. It's a relationship that students can use and remember and think about when they meet new people. But I still found that communication and relationship building only were not enough to help all of my students get awesome results. Most of my students got amazing results, but there were a couple students who still didn't seem to have the great results that I wanted them to have. So I went back and looked at my approach again. I studied it for another 2 or 3 years and looked at what was different about my super successful students and what was different about my students whose results were just so-so. And after lots of research and investigation, I found the answer. There was a third very important component to students' success in learning English, which was the self. The student needed to have a strong sense of self to succeed. They needed to be self-confident, decisive, ready to take risks and make mistakes, open-minded, and they needed to believe in their own ability to succeed. So I combined those 3 things together: communication, relationship building, and sense of self, and I created a totally new approach that no one is talking about and no one else is using to get amazing results for every student I work with. This approach is called the integral approach to learning English. So right now, because you are part of this seminar, you're going to learn things that are completely new and no one else is teaching them. They are more effective than traditional ways that people have been learning and teaching English for the past 100 years, and you're going to learn them right now here with me today. Now, let's get started. The first thing we absolutely must do today is set your language learning goals. If you've never done this before, then it might feel a little strange the first time, and that's okay. In fact, it's good if it feels strange, because that means that you're trying something new and you're making progress. If you always feel comfortable, you'll never make progress. So it's good if you feel a little uncomfortable doing this. To set your goals, you need to have a piece of paper, you need to pick up a pen, and get ready to write. You'll have to listen and then think about what I tell you, and then write information about yourself on your piece of paper. At the top of the paper in front of you, you need to write a few words. You're going to write 1 word on 1 line, and then skip a line or 2 and write the next one. And then you'll do the same thing with each word that I tell you. Ready? Okay. The first word you need to write is words. That's right. Write the word words at the top of the paper. Okay, next, write the word rules. Remember to skip a line or 2 between each word. Okay, after that, write the word speaking. That's an important one. Next, write the word books. And then the last one, write the word films. Okay, so now you should have those 5 words written on your paper, and what we're going to do is set our goals for each of these categories. First of all, next to where you wrote the word words, you need to write how many words you want to learn in the next 12 months or the next 6 months. I know that 12 months might be a long time for some people, and that's okay. If 12 months is too long, then you can plan for 6 months. So all you need to do is write a number. How many words are you going to learn? Then, write the number of grammar rules that you're going to study in the next 6 or 12 months. Grammar rules are important because they give structure to the language and help connect all of the words that we know. After that, write how often you want to have speaking practice and how many times you'll be able to focus 100% on speaking in the next 6 or 12 months. It might be speaking practice with a native speaker, with a teacher, or maybe just with a friend. Research has shown that speaking a language helps you learn and remember it. You really need as much speaking practice as you can get. The best way to learn English is to practice speaking every day for at least 1 hour. I understand that it can be difficult to find someone to speak with every day, but this is probably the most important thing to focus on when learning the language. You must have speaking practice. Next, write how many books you're going to read in the next 6 or 12 months. They don't have to be hundreds of pages long, and they don't have to be originals, but they must be in English. And lastly, you need to write how many films you're going to watch in English in the next 6 or 12 months. I know that you might not even have enough time to watch entire films, but you should at least be able to find 15 to 30 minutes to watch a TV show. It's important to watch films and TV shows in English because you get to improve your listening skills, you get to learn new vocabulary, hear natural pronunciation in real-life situations, and most importantly, have fun. Make sure you write down your goals on this piece of paper before moving forward because setting goals and having a plan will help you learn English better and faster. There was a research study done at Yale University. They interviewed students who were graduating from the university one year and asked them about their goals. They asked if they had any goals. Then they asked if they had specific goals. They wanted to know what their goals were. And then they asked if they had written their goals on paper, where that paper was, and how often they looked at their goals. 20 years later, they interviewed the same people and found that the students who had written their goals on paper achieved more than all of the other students. Learning a language is no different from any other goal that you have. In order to achieve it, you must write down your goals and plan for success. Now, the next thing you need to do is set your goals to a specific time. If they aren't connected to a date and time, then they aren't really goals. We need to know when to do them and when they should be completed. So what I want you to do right now is open your calendar on your phone or on your computer. There should be a program or application that is a calendar and lets you set tasks and reminders. If you don't have one, then you should look online and download one. It must be able to send you reminders. I suggest using Google Calendar. So open your calendar and get ready to write your goals into your calendar. To show you what this looks like, I'm going to give you some suggested goals. Now, these are just an example and you don't have to have the same goals. I just think that these are really good goals, but you can do more or less and you can decide for yourself. So now we have our calendar wide open and we have goals written on the piece of paper in front of us. Next to the word words, I'm going to write 2,000. This is my goal for the next 12 months. Remember, you might have different goals and that's fine. That's okay. You should set your own goals, and my goals that I'm showing you now are just an example. So I wrote 2,000. That's 2,000 words that I want to learn in the next 12 months. I chose the number 2,000 because it's realistic, and it also will give you a great result. If you know 2,000 words, then you'll be able to understand a lot of what people say to you and what people say around you, and you'll be able to speak more and communicate better. Now, a lot of people hear the number 2,000 and they think that that's a really big number. They think it's a lot of words and it's a little shocking because they think that they could never learn that many words. And I agree, the number 2,000 is big and scary. That's why we want to break that number down into smaller units. Let me show you what I mean. If we learn 2,000 new words in 1 year, that means we learn 167 new words per month and 39 new words per week, and only 6 new words per day. When you think of learning 6 words every day, it seems easy. But when you think of learning 2,000 words every year, it seems difficult. So let's stop thinking about 2,000 words and start thinking about 6 words. But the next question we should ask is, which words should I learn? And the answer is, the most important words. It's easy to find which words are the most important to learn. Just go online and search for top 100 words in English, or top 200 words in English, or top 1,000 words in English, and you'll find a list of very important words. Then you can separate those words into groups of 6 or 39 or 167, and you can start learning them. You should put your list of words for the day or week or month in your kitchen so you can look at them when you're eating. You should put them in your car so you can think about them when you're driving. Put them everywhere so you always have a reason to think about them and review them. Next, I'm going to write the number 52 next to the word rules. That means you study 4 grammar lessons and grammar rules every month and only 1 every week. So if you're already spending time learning new words every day, then you choose 1 day a week to spend a little more time learning grammar too. You'll need to read the grammar rule, understand it, do exercises to review it, and practice it. To practice it, all you'll need to do is search online for the name of the grammar topic, for example, present perfect, and then write the word activities or exercises. This will give you lots of websites that will check your answers automatically, so you'll know if you're right or wrong and if you really understand it or not. The next question is, how many times should you have speaking practice? And the best answer here is every day. The more practice you have, the better. You can never have too much practice, but I understand that you might not be able to practice speaking every day. So I'm going to write the number 52 next to the word speaking. That means you need to have speaking practice just one time a week. Remember that I recommend having speaking practice every day for an hour, but for our example here, I'm writing 52. And you need to understand that speaking practice does not have to be with a native speaker. It could be with a friend or a colleague or a family member too. The most important part of speaking practice is the speaking part. You must speak. But a lot of people have problems finding a speaking partner. They tell me that they can't find anyone to speak with. And that's why I've created a special resource that will help you get speaking practice every day and will help you find speaking partners. And I'll tell you more about that later in the seminar. Next, let's talk about books. Here next to the word books, I'm going to write the number 20. That's how many books I think you should read each year. If you read more, that's great too. They don't have to be long novels and they don't have to be originals. You can read children's books just to get started reading in English, or magazines, or something else that interests you. The main idea is that you need to read something from beginning to end, and you need to actively read. Now, what does that mean? Well, active reading means that you don't just read the words in the book and then forget about them. No. You need to have a pen and paper with you when you read. When you find a word or phrase that you don't know or don't understand, you need to write it down and look it up in the dictionary or translator and learn what it means in that context. When you're choosing a book to read, it's important to choose simple books or simple literature. You should be able to understand at least 80 to 90% of the words and the content of the books that you're reading. If you understand less than that, then it won't be interesting and you're going to have a very difficult time finishing it. So when you're looking for a book to read, you should open the book to a random page and see how many words you know and how many words you don't know on that page. If you set your goal to read 20 books a year, then you only have to read 1.5 books per month, which is less than 1 book per week. There are special types of books called graded readers that will be easier for you to read, and they'll help you learn important vocabulary too. So when you're looking for books to read, start with graded readers. The last goal for us to talk about is films. Next to the word films, I'm going to write the number 30. You can probably watch more than 30 films in the next 12 months, and they don't have to be films. Like I said, you can watch TV shows too. But just like with books, you need to not just watch, but actively watch. So that means you need to have a pen and paper with you when you watch and write down words and phrases and then learn what they mean in that context. The reason we need to watch and read with a pen and paper is because we're not just doing these activities for fun. They might be fun too, and it's great if you have fun while you're learning, but you need to approach watching films and reading books as an English lesson. So bring your pen and paper and get ready to study when you turn on films or TV shows. If you watch 30 films per year, that's 2.5 films per month, and that's less than 1 film per week. Great. Now that you have your goals written on the paper in front of you and you've opened up your calendar on your phone or on your computer, you need to start writing your goals into your calendar. So first, let's start with words. We want to learn 6 words every day. So I'm going to put a reminder in my phone for every morning. I think 6 new words is only going to take me about 10 minutes. I usually wake up at 5 a.m. and take a shower, so I'm going to put my reminder for 5 a.m. If I learn 6 new words before I get in the shower, then I can spend my time in the shower thinking about those words and practicing them in my head. I can try to create sentences with those words and practice pronouncing them too. Or maybe you aren't a morning person. You could set a reminder to learn 6 new words before you leave your house and go to work. Then when you're on the bus or in your car, you can repeat them, you can review them, you can practice them. And we want to do that every day, even at the weekend. Next is grammar. I'm going to choose 1 day a week to learn a new grammar rule and practice it. I think learning a new grammar rule is going to take me about 30 minutes. I like to get difficult tasks done early in the week, so I'm going to put this one on Monday and set a reminder for every Monday for the next year. I'm usually really busy on weekdays, so the only time I really have is in the evening after work, and that's when I'll study grammar. After that, I need to plan my speaking practice. This one's difficult because it depends on other people. I need to have a speaking partner and I need to plan the days and times with them. Or you could do it a much easier way and join a regular speaking club or international speaking practice group. I'll tell you more about that a little later. Like I said, it's best to practice speaking every day because that will take the words and knowledge that you learn in your own time and make them active. If you don't activate your knowledge, then you'll forget it really fast. So for now, we can't put a date or time in our calendar, and instead we're going to put a big task in the calendar for today after the seminar is finished and write, find speaking partners for daily speaking practice. Great. Next, we need to add reminders about books and films. In my opinion, the evening is the best time to read books. It's a better way to relax than just surfing the internet and looking at funny pictures of cats, right? What you want to do is you want to see how many pages are in the book that you're going to read and divide that number by the number of days it will take you to finish it. So if we need to read 1.5 books every month, then we can say that we have about 18 days to read one book. If our book is 100 pages long, then we have to read 5.5 pages every day. So in my calendar, I'm going to give myself 30 minutes every evening to read 5.5 pages. You might read faster or slower, but remember that you aren't just reading. You're also taking notes and learning new words and phrases. And we want to do the same thing with films. We usually watch films from the beginning to the end, so we need to find a day when we can dedicate an hour or 2 hours to watching the whole film. For me, I'm too busy during the week to do this, so it has to be at the weekend. We said that our goal was to watch 2.5 films per month, so I'm going to put a reminder in my calendar for every Saturday morning. You might be thinking, but Chris, that's 4 films. You're right, that is 4 films per month. But what we really need to do is understand the film, so we might have to watch the same film 2 times or even more times. You'll probably enjoy the film more the second time after you've learned new words and phrases. We need to look at how long the film is and put that in our calendar. So now you should have your goals written on that piece of paper in front of you. You should have your goals in your calendar with reminders. And there's still one more thing that you need to do. You see, if you just wake up and try to complete your goals as they are now, you'll fail because you haven't prepared anything. Which words are you going to learn? Which grammar rules are you going to study? Who are you going to speak with? Which books are you going to read? Which films are you going to watch? If you make those decisions every day and every time you get a reminder on your phone, then you'll waste all of your time planning and you won't spend that time studying. You need to do the planning first. So let's do that now. We've already talked about how you can find the top 100 or 200 or even 1,000 words in English, right? All you need to do is search on Google. So you need to print that list of words out and then separate it into groups of 6 words. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that the words are not simple words that you already know. For example, words like if or but or in. If you understand what I'm saying right now, then you probably know those words already. So you might need to start from the end of the list of most popular words. Another option is searching for lists of words about a special topic, for example, medical English or legal English or other professional spheres. You want to plan your words for the whole month so that you don't have to spend time planning every day again and again. And then next month, you'll do the same thing. So you need to go back to your calendar right now and schedule a planning day. On your planning day, you're going to plan which new words you're going to learn that month, which grammar rules, when you're going to have speaking practice, which books you'll read, and which films you'll watch that month. You'll probably need about 60 minutes the first time you do it, and then you'll need 30 minutes every month after that. I think the best day to schedule this for is the last day or